Madam Minister, thank you so much for joining us here on France 24. We really appreciate it in a snowy Washington, D.C.
Thank you for having me.
Can we just start by saying how you believe this trip has gone, this visit and peace deal signing has gone for the DR Congo?
Well, it's been, when you speak of trip, it's been a journey, to be honest, right? We started earlier this year with a series of instruments that were signed. So we can say, looking back at yesterday, that it was the pinnacle, if you want, of a series of long engagements, diplomatic engagements. So from that point of view, we're very satisfied with the fact that we have been able to have the Washington Accords signed by the three heads of state. It's an important milestone, but we also know, because we are coming from a conflict that has been ongoing for decades, we also know that the road ahead is still very long. So it's, I don't want to, I want to say maybe mixed feelings of a partial satisfaction because we've crossed an important milestone, but also cognizant of the fact that there's still a lot to be done.
You say there's been a lot to be done. This deal was actually signed almost 6 months ago now, so it's had time to be implemented, but of course there are still many things in the deal which haven't been implemented. Why do you think that is?
Well, again, because it is a complex conflict, it is a conflict that has been ongoing for 30 years. If it were so easy to solve, we would have done it in less than 6 months. So I think there are, ramifications that have established themselves over decades that we are all, I hope, all in equal manner and with equal efforts working to deconstruct. On the side of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, I need to or emphasize rather the fact that this conflict has played out mostly in the DRC for the past 30 years. We're talking about over 10 million casualties, 10 million deaths. And so we are not shying away from any effort to put an end to this conflict because we are the ones paying the heaviest burden of it. I hope that we will see the same level of commitment on all sides, but we are cognizant that a conflict that has been ongoing for so long takes a while also to resolve or to come to an end.
I spoke to an official a few days ago who said that it was basically up to Rwanda to uphold their side of the deal to get this across the line and to get it implemented. Do you feel like there's more impetus on the Congolese side to get this deal sorted than the Rwandan side?
Well, first of all, I think we need to be clear on the fact that we're not talking only about two parties, we're talking about three
Of
parties.
course.
Because we have, as a mediator and as a other signatory, the United States of America. And this is, the big difference compared to all the previous peace efforts we've seen in the region. I think the potential that the Great Lakes region has is immense, and the motivation, if you want, to put an end to this conflict should be the same on both sides. Again, we are paying the heaviest price, the heaviest burden in terms of human lives, in terms of human development, economy. So we are going to do our utmost, but we're also going to be very transparent about the fact that other parties have to hold their end of the bargain, and that if we do not move in lockstep, we will never get out of this quagmire. So we will be very transparent about that, and it has been our posture ever since the signing in June. We have been very vocal about things that have not been happening as they ought to have been happening, and we have been also vocal about the efforts that we have made and our efforts and commitments to hold our end of the bargain.
You mentioned that third party, the United States. They've signed many of these types of deals, minerals deals, with various countries around the world. That means there's going to be a lot of investment in DR Congo coming from the United States. Can you give me a list of the companies that have already signed on to invest in Congo and in the mineral sector?
No, I don't have such a list. I know that there is immense interest from US companies and from companies from other countries in the world. Obviously, because the DRC is the country where you find the highest concentration of the most critical minerals that are necessary for our current technology. So the interest is there. It is coming from US companies and other companies, but I'm not at liberty to divulge, if you want, the names of certain companies.
So you can't name any of the companies that are going to be.
If I would name one, I would maybe run the risk of not naming another. So I would not want to expose myself to that. There is a lot of interest, and there have been very fruitful conversations. But again, what the primacy of all of these conversations is the imperative to return to security, to return to peace. Because even if there is interest from US companies or from other companies from other countries, the precondition that for any successful investment, not just for us as Congolese, but certainly for any respectable company, is that there is a minimum of stability, of security, of peace, because they have to, set up their business in the DRC. So this is for us also our guiding principle, even when we engage in these very, dynamic and promising conversations.
And just finally, Madam Foreign Minister, there's been a lot of talk from the opposition and other people within DR Congo that this deal has effectively sold out Congo. What do you say to those people?
Well, we would never sell out our country. I think what is very important is to understand that this strategic partnership we're entering in with the U.S. changes the way we relate to the United States of America. It elevates our relationship. It elevates our relationship to one of a strategic partnership. That is already a very important step. The second aspect of it is that it establishes clear mechanisms through which both countries will continue to engage in these strategic discussions to see how this partnership has to be shaped. The third aspect is that it is not an issue of exclusivity. I always emphasize that in a country as big as the Democratic Republic of the Congo, as rich as the DRC, we do not have the luxury of exclusivity. We have the luxury of complementarity. So we're looking forward to bringing in U.S. partners that will enter niches that other partners cannot occupy and that will help us diversify our economy. And that's in the objective to have greater transformation of natural resources on site, create jobs, create human capital, but also create sustainable development and wealth for our population. So this is a very important step forward for us. It means that we're diversifying our landscape of partners and that we're entering much more strategic partnerships and not ad hoc arrangements, which actually expose us, the country, much more to abuse. They can expose us to corruption and so on and so forth. We're looking at a framework that sets out clear ramifications for a partnership that is mutually beneficial.
Madam Foreign Minister, thank you for joining us here on France 24.
Thank you so much.